Water, the very essence of life, flowing through our bodies, our fields, our cities. It shapes civilizations, feeds nations, and fuels economies. We are born of water. We depend on it every day. Yet, as the 21st century unfolds, a troubling question rises to the top of global discourse. Could water, this ancient source of life, become the spark that ignites the next great global conflict? Could water, not oil, not ideology, not nuclear weapons, but simple life-sustaining water, trigger World War III? At first, the idea seems unthinkable. After all, we live on the blue planet. From space, Earth gleams with vast oceans, rivers snaking across continents, clouds swirling with a promise of rain. Water seems abundant, inexhaustible. 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with it. But look closer, and the reality is starkly different. Only 2.5% of all the water on Earth is fresh water. Water we can actually use to drink, farm, and sustain life. And even then, nearly 70% of that fresh water is locked away in glaciers, inaccessible for centuries, maybe millennia. What's left? Less than 1%, a mere sliver, is available to us in the lakes, rivers, and reservoirs that we depend on every single day. As the global population surges past 8 billion, this limited supply is stretched ever thinner. Cities swell, farms expand, industries boom, all demanding more and more water. Yet our supply is under siege. Climate change is driving erratic weather, longer droughts, and more extreme floods. Pollution poisons rivers and lakes. Short-sighted governance and over-extraction drain aquifers that took centuries to fill. The result? The world's most precious resource is under threat as never before. And the warning signs are already here. The water crisis is not some distant, hypothetical scenario. It is the lived reality for millions, and the harbinger of what may come. In 2018, the city of Cape Town, South Africa, teetered on the edge of day zero, the day its taps would run dry. Residents queued for hours at communal taps under threat of rationing as the city scrambled to avoid disaster. The crisis was only narrowly averted. A year later, in Chennai, India, the city's reservoirs ran dry. Tankers became lifelines, delivering limited water to desperate families. In the Middle East, years of severe drought in Syria decimated crops, drove rural families into cities, and fueled social unrest, a key ingredient in the civil war that followed. In Africa, Lake Chad, once a lifeline for millions, has shrunk by 90% since the 1960s, its recession fueling migration, poverty, and the rise of extremist groups. Across the globe, 30 countries are already experiencing high water stress, where demand far exceeds supply. The United Nations has sounded the alarm. By 2025, 2/3 of humanity could face water scarcity. This is not a crisis for the future, it is happening now. Where water is scarce, tensions rise. The world is already witnessing the first ripples of water wars. In South Asia, the Indus River flows from the Himalayas through India and Pakistan, sustaining hundreds of millions. The Indus Waters Treaty, signed in 1960, has held for decades, even through wars. But both nations regularly accuse each other of violating the agreement. Each new dam, each diversion, is seen as a threat, one that could tip the balance from peace to conflict. To the west, Turkey controls the headwaters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the lifeblood of Syria and Iraq. Turkey's ambitious dam projects have reduced water flow downstream, threatening agriculture and drinking supplies. Accusations fly. Tensions simmer. In the Middle East, Israel holds sway over the waters of the Jordan River, controlling access and allocation. Palestinians living under occupation often receive a fraction of the water per person that Israelis do, a source of daily hardship and deep resentment. In Southeast Asia, China controls the Mekong River's headwaters. Its massive dam building upstream has reduced water flow to Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, causing crop failures and stoking economic and political instability. These are not abstract disputes. They are ticking time bombs, with millions of lives in the balance. Why is water such a unique and volatile resource? Unlike oil or minerals, there is no substitute for water. We can live without gasoline. We cannot live without water. Yes, technology offers hope. Desalination can turn seawater into something drinkable, but at great expense and using immense energy, putting it out of reach for many developing nations. Recycling wastewater helps, but only in wealthier, technologically advanced societies. Cloud seeding is still experimental and nowhere near scale. For most of the world, there is no alternative. Water is vital, not just for drinking, but for every aspect of modern life. Agriculture consumes 70% of the world's fresh water. Without water, crops fail, food prices soar, and famine looms. Industry and electricity generation, hydroelectric power, cooling for nuclear plants, manufacturing depend on reliable water supplies. Sanitation and hygiene, the foundation of public health, are impossible without clean water. A loss of water means the collapse of entire economies, the unraveling of societies. What's making this crisis exponentially worse is climate change, a multiplier of risks. Glaciers that feed the world's great rivers, the Himalayas, the Andes, the Alps, are shrinking at alarming rates. What was once a steady flow of meltwater is becoming a torrent in spring, leaving rivers dry by late summer. Rainfall is more erratic. Some regions are battered by unprecedented floods, destroying crops and infrastructure. Others face relentless drought, driving people from their homes. Desertification is spreading across Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia, turning once fertile lands into dust. Groundwater, tapped by farms and cities alike, is being extracted far faster than it can recharge. These impacts are not evenly distributed. Some countries are inundated, others parched. This unevenness breeds conflict between neighbors, within regions, even within nations themselves. In response, countries are treating water as a strategic asset, something to be secured, protected, even weaponized. China has built more than 87,000 dams, many near its borders, giving it control over the water that flows to its neighbors. India has declared water a strategic resource, a matter of national security. In Africa, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile has sparked bitter disputes between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan, each viewing control of the Nile's waters as a matter of survival. The United States, too, has recognized water scarcity as a security threat, incorporating it into its defense strategies. Meanwhile, private companies are acquiring water rights, bottling aquifers, and controlling infrastructure, turning water into a commodity to be bought, sold, and sometimes hoarded. So, could World War III really be fought over water? If it comes, it may not look like the wars of the past. No tanks rolling across borders, no battles in trenches, The new wars could be waged in cyberspace with hackers targeting dams and water treatment plants. They could involve poisoning or contaminating water supplies or blockading rivers to choke off entire populations. The scenario is chilling. One nation upstream dams a river. Crops fail downstream. Millions lose their livelihoods. Refugees pour across borders, armies mobilize, and violence erupts over the basic human right to water. We have seen wars over land, over religion, over oil. But water is different. It is geography, survival, power, and identity, all entwined. Those with means may be able to buy their way out, at least for a time. But the poor and vulnerable will suffer first and most. Yet the future is not set in stone. World War III over water is not inevitable. There is still time to change course if the world acts with urgency and wisdom. The solutions are clear, if not always easy. We need robust international treaties that guarantee water sharing and fair use. Investments in water infrastructure, dams, pipes, treatment plants must be scaled up, especially in vulnerable regions. Agriculture, the biggest water user, must be modernized, adopting efficient irrigation and drought-resistant crops. Pollution and over-extraction of groundwater must be curbed. Above all, education and public awareness are crucial. Everyone must understand the value of water and the cost of waste. Most importantly, water must be recognized not as a commodity, not as a weapon, but as a fundamental human right. Only then can the world hope to move from competition to cooperation, from division to unity. Water has the power to divide, but it also has the power to unite. It can become the foundation for peace as nations work together to secure a shared future. The choice is ours to make. Will we let water become the cause of the next great war? Or will we use this moment to build a world where water is a bridge, not a barrier, a source of life, not conflict? The next war may not be fought for power, for territory, or for oil. It may be fought for a glass of water, but it doesn't have to be that way. Together, we can chart a different course, one of awareness, responsibility, and hope. Stay informed, stay aware, and remember, every drop counts.